Hello, fiber fans, friends, and followers. My name is Beth, and I'm here to talk to you about all of the yarny things I've gotten into recently. Today, I will be wrapping up Shark Week as well as the Makers Meetup that was my whirlwind of a week last week, and I will be talking about all of the new things I got, all of the fun things we did, and the progress that I made on things. Hello. And my expected format is that I will go through all of the yarny things and then have some more talky things at the end. So I'll talk about finished objects, I'll talk about works in progress, I'll talk about my new to me, and then I'll go into a little more about the activities and events so that, you know, if you're just here for the yarny things, you don't really care to know all the details about everything that was said and done, then that'll be a natural segue. So, with that being said, I know there are a lot of new people out there to me because of my participation in Shark Week. So, my name is Beth. I live in Chicago. I do a podcast when the mood hits me. And it hits me a lot in the summertime because I am a teacher's aide, so I have more time free to spend on my fun activities in the summer. So I do tend to get more knitting time in, and that leads to more podcasting time. So if you're all about the summer knitting, stick around, I got you. But another thing that I'm doing is in between summer weeks of recording, I'm also recording for my fall time because I know that I won't have as much content because I won't have as much free time to craft in the fall. So I am recording some content in between weeks to have in my fall podcasts. This is new to me. I'm not usually a big planner. I'm usually fly by the seat of your pants, but we'll see how this works out, and maybe it will help me to gain a little momentum during those fall and winter months when my world kind of gets slower and slower as I may be getting more stressed from my working day. I don't know how people work full-time jobs and then also have the ability to craft. It's not easy. And I'm like, so my work day is 7.5 hours. So it's not like I'm not fully full-time, but I am full-time as far as the school is concerned. So I have all these breaks throughout the year and everything. You would think that I would feel like, oh, everything's great. I can handle all of the world and everything. But I don't know. It's too much for me. I don't know how people out there do it. If you are someone who works full time, comment below. I'm curious to know how you handle your knit time and family and everything else, because that is not an easy thing to me. Speaking of commenting below, typically every other episode I announce a prompt for a bag that you can win, and then every other episode I draw a winner. I just recently drew another winner. I was hoping I would see her at the meetup, but unfortunately she didn't make it there. So I still have that to send to her. But I did get new Sandy bags from Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Thanks for the bags. And I will be announcing a prompt on the next episode. So that will be the August prompt. Typically, I try to do it every month. So, with that all out of the way, that was a long intro for me. Let's talk about what I'm wearing. This was my Shark Week finish. Shark Week is a week that coincides with the Discovery Channel's Shark Week, where the politically incorrect knitters run a knit along, which is you attempt to make one thing, you declare what it is, it's entirely up to you, and you have to complete that within, it's actually 8 days. So it started on Sunday the 20th, and it went through Sunday the 28th, 27th, whatever last Sunday was. So we had from Saturday at midnight to the following Sunday at midnight in order to complete our project. And if you don't finish in that amount of time, you have to frog the whole thing. I am feeling mixed feelings about this at the moment because I wouldn't have minded frogging entirely. But I do feel like I pushed things in order to finish this on time and don't have exactly what I wanted. So let me clarify that. First, let me say this is the Country Sunset top by Life and Yarn. And I did a little twirl beforehand, so I'll throw that in here so you can see what it looks like in all its full glory. It is a crochet top where essentially what you're doing is matching up your bigger stitches with the bigger stitches in some areas, and then the smaller stitches with the smallest stitches in others. And then you're sort of alternating that so that they kind of meet together in a way that makes it make a rectangle. So it is two rectangles. One panel goes over one shoulder, the other panel goes over the other shoulder. You seam the two together in the middle, in both the front and the back, and then up the sides. Simple concept, love it. I used self-striping yarn. It is the yarn that it was recommended for. It was Lion Brand Mandala string in the Colorway Country. It is the one that is on the model in the picture. Now, my issue came in with the stripes. You can see on this side, I've got 1, 2, 3 white stripes. On this side, I've got 1. My problem is that sometimes in the yarn, there would be just a knot would come up all of a sudden, like where you can tell it was intentionally knotted with the ends clipped so that wherever the yarn broke somewhere in the middle of the skein, it was knotted together so that they could skein it up correctly. Well, unfortunately, in a couple of places, that left the entire white section out, which I think is extremely noticeable in this self-striping pattern because it is definitely the lightest color and it provides the most contrast. So I think, like if I was missing maybe a green somewhere, I don't think it would be as noticeable. I've got this green I feel like is not as noticeable. And do I have that over here? Yeah, I think that's the green. It's hard to tell with my poor eyesight. That might be the darker brown. Oh yeah, that's the green, I think, over here. But like if that was missing, I don't think it would have made that much difference. But because it's the white that seems to be missing in two different spots, it looks off balance to me. And I think if I had had more time, I might have like wound off some of the yarn and found the white section and added that in. So that is like, that's one of the things that you just have to deal with when you're saying I'm doing this for speed as opposed to doing this for the perfect look. It's not going to stop me from wearing it. I had thought about possibly pulling it apart and redoing from, say, like right here where the white should have been. So that's way too much for me, because that would be actually pulling back from here, because that's where this was the end. And I remember that I started from a place in the yarn that I was like, oh, okay, this looks like it's the same as this. So I did that on purpose. I looked for a skein that had this white at the end, or I think it was brown actually. Yeah, brown is where it starts, but the brown should go into white and then tan. Well, here the brown just went into tan because there might be a little bit of white somewhere. I'm not looking at the whole thing right now. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere on there. So it was just a matter of using a yarn that is not as consistent as I would like it to be. And I guess that's kind of the chances you take when you buy a bargain brand yarn. So I still like it. I'm not going to tear it apart. Part of me was thinking, do I want to do it again? Because I have some leftover yarn. I don't have like all of it. And really, I think all it would be, I mean, I would even just redo one panel and undo my seams and sew that together again. That would work. I also think I could have gone with a bigger size. It wouldn't be bad if this was a little drapier. But it's cute. It's a really cute top, and I'm not mad. So that's my Shark Week project. And I will talk more about it when I get to the talky part. So that's the yarny part of Shark Week. There's many other projects to see on Instagram, but I'll get into that. On my last episode, I was talking about that there was a teal knit along for the meetup, the Makers Meetup, which was in Hoffman Estates last weekend. I just wanted to mention it hasn't been touched. I wore it for the picture, but I missed the pictures. So I'm going to put the picture in here. I'll probably put an arrow on me. You can tell I'm conspicuously just added into the picture because Colleen and I, Selfish Knitter, we were out shopping when they did the pictures. We were attempting to avoid the crowds at the yarn shop because like everybody and their brother was going to Woolen Company, and we had heard before we left that the lines there were super long. So there was really nothing to even show you on that. That was Sylvan Tea by Aneta Bleyer, and I am going to finish this by the next time I talk to you because all it needs is sleeves. So that's the only reason I wanted to show you that work in progress, just to talk about what happened with it, because I made zero progress on it. Okay, so that just brings me to new to me. So I want to show you what I bought. So the first place Colleen and I went was String Theory. So I bought this cute little blue bag. This was a bargain. It's not gonna, I don't think this is rainproof, but it's cute. It's a good size for a hat. So I bought this yarn. It is covered with a tag. Ikigai. Ikigai? I-K-I-G-A-I. Ikigai fiber. And this was to knit a beanie that I saw a sample of in the store. It is called the Mindful Beanie. I'll put a picture of it up. But a 2-color beanie that was super cute. I loved the color work on this, and I was like, okay, this is something I need to challenge myself with. And this yarn, I wish you could feel this through the screen. It is super duper soft. It is, let me get my glasses on so I can tell you what it's made of. 75% superwash merino and 25% baby alpaca. So it's only a 50-gram skein, but it is chunky, so that should make the work go fast. I need some smaller projects like this so that I can do the Chicken Lady Fiber Arts 25 in 25 knit along. If you have not seen that, check out Lynn on Instagram, Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. It is basically, it looks like a bingo card, and you do 25 projects in the year 2025 in order to be entered to win prizes for her knit along. So I need some smaller things like that in order to fill up my card. I think I have completed 9 so far, and we are in the 7th month, so I gotta get it kicking. I gotta get it moving. So that's what I bought at String Theory. That was the only thing I bought there. We then went to Woolen Company. I knew before I went that I wanted this yarn. This is Urth Yarn's Uneek Fingering in the 3025 colorway. It is a self-striping yarn, and I will show you the reason why I wanted this. This is the Uneek Fingering Chevron scarf. Oh my gosh, this is so wrinkled. I haven't touched it in a long time. So I had used the 3025 colorway to make all of this, and it calls for 2 skeins. And I thought that the idea was use 2 different skeins to get 2 sets of stripes. And this second yarn that I have started, I feel like it's too much of a contrast for this project. So my plan is to use the original colorway and complete it with that. This is a simple pattern. I believe the idea is that it's free with the purchase of yarn. I don't know for sure because I did get this from Elgin Knitworks when they were in business and they no longer are. So a simple pattern. I don't know if you have to buy it from Ravelry or what. So I am going to frog what I have of this purple color because it's just too much purple, not enough of the blues and greens, and I'm gonna go from there and continue this project in the matching yarn. So that's the plan with that one. And then I also at Woolen Company bought here, this is probably the more mundane and not exciting one, knit blockers. So these are essentially like little combs of pins for when you block your knits and you want to stretch things out more. This could have been very helpful when I was trying to block my my shawls that I had test knit. I think it would have looked much nicer if I had used blocking combs to aggressively block some of those. Next, I am considering casting on Deschain, which is a pattern by Leila Raven, and I found this yarn. This is Lang Lino, and it is in the colorway Candy Violet, which is their number 146. And so I've got 5 of these little balls of yarn, and hopefully that's enough to do it. When I was talking about this pattern at the meetup, I was talking to, who was it I was talking to? Comment below if it was you. I was talking to somebody who said they had knit a sweater that was almost exactly the same thing, but it was redone for a different yarn to make it more of a winter version of the same sweater. So I saw, she showed me a picture of her in it. Who was that? She showed me her Ravelry picture. I'm so sorry. I'm just blanking. But yes, I never realized. I had seen Deschain multiple times, but I've never seen the other version of that. And Quince & Co. was the yarn name. And Deschain was originally done in Kestrel, but the winter version is a different Quince & Co. yarn. So I'm planning on doing the summer version. It is like a 3/4 length sleeve, lacy front. It may be lacy all over. I'm not sure. I think it's just the front. So I'm excited to work on that. So hopefully I have time in my life to get to that. But we shall see. That may be like something I'm looking at in the spring to do for next summer. That is all of the new to me things that are not things that I received from the meetup. I'll talk about those more when I am talking about details of the meetup. So, first thing I want to talk about though is Shark Week and what that was like. So if you're not about the talky parts, this is your cue. Remember to like and subscribe if you are not already. And here we go into Shark Week. So politically incorrect knitters. I had the pleasure of being one of the sponsors of this year's Shark Week. And so with that came the privilege of being able to be on a live stream, actually 2 live streams. I was on the opening ceremony live stream and the closing ceremony live stream. And this is the first time I have actually had any real life conversation with DK. I've met Anne before of Politically Incorrect Knitters. If you're interested in seeing those, head on over to the Politically Incorrect Knitters YouTube channel. Those are under the live streams on their channel. So I felt like it was nice that I was able to have conversation with people about Shark Week things as well as other things in life. This was my first time being on any kind of live stream. And for the first one, for the opening ceremony, I was late because firstly, I was thinking it was at 7 o'clock my time. It was at 7 o'clock Eastern. So with that, at some point it clicked to me that I was thinking about it wrong and I had to be ready an hour sooner. And then I also was in this room, and at 6 p.m. in this room, the sun is obnoxious coming from the window that's right behind this camera. I mean, it is like a lighthouse beaming a light in here. It is really bad. So I kind of put my computer over on the table next to me here, and I felt like the computer was kind of low because I actually have one of those like stands that you put your you can put a phone on, and it has a little grabby thing on it. That's how I podcast here. So using the computer, I couldn't use that thing. That was not going to hold my laptop. But for the closing ceremonies, I put it on top of a box, and I felt like that was a better, like more eye level camera for me. I felt like I was looking down the whole time at the opening ceremonies, and I was actually looking eye level at the closing ceremony. So I had it figured out. It was just there was a learning curve. But that was a lot of fun. It was nice to hang out with the girls and chit chat about knitting and all of the Sharky adventures that we had. One of the things that I thought was the most interesting, and I feel like I missed out on this because I was so busy with, focusing on getting this done, that I wasn't necessarily thinking about the theme of this year's Shark Week. Now, you would think that the theme is just sharks, and that is one of the themes. But this year they had a theme, the Shark of Music, which was musicals. So you can watch musicals and, take pictures of yourself, working on your project while you're watching a musical, or whatever the case may be. So I wish I had given a little more thought to that, because when we were at the closing ceremony and people were talking about all the musicals they watched, I thought, man, I missed out on that piece of things. And I do like musicals, and maybe, I've got this week mostly free, so I could do that now if I wanted to. There's nothing holding me back, other than is it streaming on something I have? So there's that. I wish I had gotten a little bit more into that, because that is half the fun of Shark Week, is, trying to capture the moment and to be in the moment. So I missed out on that, and I do have some regret about that, but I can pull that into my life at any time I want to, so maybe I will. The other highlight of Shark Week to me is watching on social media and seeing what people are doing. And so on Instagram, there's a lot of the hashtag of that. Anne does a particularly good job. Anne Pinkava. Follow her on Instagram. She puts things in her stories, and she does a great job of like finding all the people who have hashtagged the Shark Week hashtag, and she puts them into her stories. So every day I was looking at Anne's stories and just checking out all the different projects that, and it was like, you would like click. I don't know if any of you watch stories at all ever, but if you do, that is sort of a thing that like sometimes you'll see somebody just has a story that's maybe a video that just plays out. And sometimes it's like a list as long as your arm of all of the stories that they are uploading to their own stories. So there were some new patterns for this. There were, different people's different takes on the musicals and how they were going to theme things. I even thought about, this is way later, I thought about this could potentially be seen as a Shark Week pattern because of the waves, like the ocean. And, Anne on the opening ceremony said something to me about it being wavy. And I don't know if she was thinking about that in that respect. But it wasn't until like I was finished with it completely that I thought, hey, I could think of this as Shark Week themed because I'm wearing the ocean now. I just have to turn sideways. Anyhow, okay. So I think that's everything that I wanted to say about Shark Week and all the fun that was. As far as Makers Meetup, it was, I'm going to say that like the coinciding time made it a little more intense for me. Because there was, at the Makers Meetup, I wanted to go around and mingle. I wanted to see what everyone is knitting at every single table. I was looking around at what people were doing and looking at the different yarns and everything. And I am sincerely interested in knitting everything. I mean, I looked at so many projects and went, ooh, I want to make that now. There was one sweater. I'll put a picture of it up if I can. I know I can find it. I know what it was, but I looked at the picture on Ravelry, and I thought, yeah, it's a basic sweater. It has like a raglan detail that is ribbing that continues down the side. And I don't know that the Ravelry pictures do that justice in the way that seeing this in person did. The woman who made it, I'm sorry, I don't remember who you were. Again. Oh, and now, okay, when I was saying I can't remember who it was Peggy. Hi, Peggy. It was Peggy who knit the other version of Deschain. Hers was in black or gray though, which that's what the original was. I know I met this lady. She was sitting with Janice. Okay, so Janice, I'm so sorry that on my last episode, I didn't know that you were the Janice that I knew from the meetup. But I did confirm that at the meetup, because it was after I wrote, hey, introduce yourself to me, that I thought, wait, I know a Janice. Anyhow, this is life, you guys. This is life. This is me. This is how I am. This is who I am. But okay, so the makers meetup. Let's dive into more of that. First thing, I was there on Thursday night. It doesn't officially begin until Friday morning. So I checked in, came down to the lobby, and then hung out for the night with a bunch of different people. Stephanie was there. Hi, Stephanie. I sat with Colleen too, Selfish Knitter. And really that night, I'm not sure I really hung out with all that many people. It was sort of just hanging out in the lobby and knitting and just kind of getting started. And the funny thing is, I think on the first night, there's all the emotions of, oh, I'm going to see a whole lot of people. And, am I going to have fun? Am I going to meet new people? Am I going to be awkward? Am I going to be weird? Is everybody going to look at me and say, what is she doing here? These are the things that go through my crazy mind. Anyhow, it was fun that first night, just kind of hanging out and doing the, oh, hey, haven't seen you for a while thing. I saw Penny that night, of PJ Knits. I have to remember that not everybody knows everyone that I know. So when I'm talking about people and everything, I try to remember to say where I know them from. First thing I did, actually, after I checked in, after I put my stuff away in my room, I had seen Sandy, the bag maker, at the table when I came through the lobby. I want to show you what she gave me. I've got these, all of these new bags to give away to different winners throughout the year. So this is the year's stuff. I just remembered something I have that's new to me that I don't have here. Okay, I just went downstairs to get my pins, buttons, I guess you call them buttons. I ordered these with my logo on them. I just created this logo in order to have a sticker for Shark Week. And so I got an email from Sticker Mule saying, hey, here's this deal we can give you on buttons. So I will be including these with Sandy bags when I send them out. So I got 50 buttons, and I will probably bring them with me to events and hand them out. I bought these specifically for handing out to people. So if you see me anywhere, ask me for a button if I don't think of it myself. I would love to give these to people who want them. So that's part of what I got from Sandy. This, I guess I can't really say I got this from Sandy. I got this, they were giving away these bags at the door. So I know Sandy made them, but this was, it's amazing. It's amazing that she makes so many bags. So everybody who signed in got a bag just like this. Well, not just like this. Some had different fabrics. So all of them were this, what do you call this, tartan? But different colors of it. All of them had these cool zippers. I want to show you this. Look at this. It's that sort of rainbow look. And then even the zipper itself has that. How cool is that? I mean, amazing. And then inside the bag, we all got, I don't know who made these, it looks like handmade cards that, you know, we can write something in. I think they're blank. Yeah, they're blank inside. And so you can write something and send it to whoever, one of your yarny friends, because mine has this ball of yarn on it. So I don't know who made those. Amazing. Nice job. Later, I was given this. I don't know if these came after the fact, but what a great sticker. I love that. Makers Meetup 2025. So this probably should go on my water bottle that I have. I also need to put my PandemicKnittr sticker on that when I get it. I already have too many things. I've got, like, I've sort of randomly done things. This is when Colleen and I meet up in Wisconsin. This is the place where we meet, Birch and Banyan. It's just a little coffee shop, and we like to hang out there. It's like midway in between us, so it's perfect. They also had these. So I know that a lot of people use these to keep the ends of your yarn all nice. I may have to make some of them too. Because, I mean, really, a little bit of glue and voila, you've got an extra pretty yarn holder. And then I'm trying to see if there's anything else on the bottom of this. I have an empty jar. I'm wondering if this was supposed to be filled with stitch markers. I know I had something else. There was, oh, and there's a mint. But somebody handed me a little bag with a bunch of stitch markers in it, and it said something cute. Darcy of Chit Chat Knits gave me a little turtle, and I feel like there was something else too, which I do not have here. And I don't know where I put it, so but that was cute. It was, you know, I feel like I need to be better about, like, giving things to people, gifting things. The problem is, my personal feeling is that a gift is only a good gift if it is well thought out for the recipient. And I think my buttons would have been good, but they came here after. They were expected to come here today as I'm recording. I think they said Tuesday or maybe even Wednesday. And I knew when I got the email that I wasn't expecting to get the buttons until later. But of course they arrived on Saturday, and I was like, I could take the hour and a half to drive all the way home and all the way back there and start giving out buttons. But I was shopping that day. I wanted to get my Shark Week project finished. You know, it would have been just too much for me. So I did not do that. The other thing that I did get at the meetup, and here's another thing. I could have brought yarn. They have a give and take table. They have multiple give and take tables. There was a finished object area, and I saw this cowl and I was like, this is my colors. This is screaming my name. I need this. So I picked up this cowl. It was made by Becky. Thank you, Becky. And I will probably wear it like this. So it could be a nice warm winter thing, or it could be an accent to an outfit. I have no idea what this yarn is. I didn't ask. It looks like it's a sort of a self-striping or some kind of thing. There's only one seam in it, which is in the back. So I just thought this was super cute. It's perfect for me. Highlights of the meetup. Seeing all the people that I haven't seen in a year, seeing Penny of PJ Knits and her friend Kendra, who are the two people who run the event. It's always great to see them. They are so welcoming, and they do such a great job of running the meetup. I got to see Dawn, who was formerly a co-host of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast, and she was with her sister Penny on the podcast, but Penny was unable to make it to the meetup this year. Now, when I talked to Dawn, she said that she and Penny are talking about maybe starting up the podcast again. So I personally am looking forward to that. So guys, keep searching your YouTube for Frivolous and Frugal to be recommended to you. Or if you haven't already, go subscribe to that channel, because I'm pretty sure it's still out there on YouTube. And maybe catch up on some of the old ones. I think if anybody told me they were catching up on my old episodes, I'd be like, oh Lord, please just jump forward a ways, because I was awful at editing in the beginning, and I'm not sure I knew what I was doing in the beginning, and now I feel like I'm a little better. I don't know. But I also think when you meet me in person, I'm a lot more exciting than the person I am on TV. I think I'm better at conversation than I am at monologue. So be it. That's how it is. So I also saw the 3-Ply podcast ladies, who were the other half of the mini meetup when it originated. And I saw Irene and Joyce. I did not see Angie, but I did see pictures of her later. So I assumed she was there when I wasn't around. Noelle and Kelly of Knits and Pieces were there. I sat with Noelle on Friday, and we sat and knit together for a little bit. And I was admiring Noelle's ability to do that pencil grip when she knits. And this sort of piqued my interest in trying out a new technique. I want to maybe experiment with that, probably on like something simple like a dishcloth, which would also help me with my goal to completing the 25 in 25 knit along for Chicken Lady Fiber Arts. So maybe that's how I do it. We'll see. I'm really interested in this because I've heard that it is a faster way to knit, and I would love to be able to do that. So I want to get more into who else I saw. I already talked about that I saw Darcy of Chit Chat Knits. She was sitting with Katie, who is her co-host. So we kind of talked and caught up and, you know, talked about our lives and everything. I talked to them for a long time. And then I met like everybody who was sitting at their table. The only name I remember is Gail because that's my mom's name. So hi Gail, if you're watching. So let's see, who else did I talk to? I know I mentioned Colleen, Selfish Knitter. Hi Colleen. We hung out the whole time. She stayed across the hall from me, so we kind of met up in the morning, and then we went shopping together. We ate together a couple of times. And I saw my knit night friends, Julie and Chris. Unfortunately, Terry couldn't make it, and neither could Donna. So, and all of us are going up to Donna's Michigan home next week. So that should be fun. I'm excited about that. That's an upcoming thing. And then someone I wanted to mention, and if I talked to you and didn't mention your name, it's not because I have forgotten you or anything. It is just, you know, I wanted to hit some of the highlights here. I did see the ladies of Alt Knits, and I have not seen a podcast from them for a long time, and we didn't even talk about if they were planning to do one or if they've given up on it or what the situation is. But I did hear some talk of maybe they should do it on Zoom. I think that's what they said. But that was sort of a maybe. It was not like, oh yeah, we got to do this. I do want to, in addition to talking about the people, I want to talk about some of the inspiration that I got from the knitting that people were doing. But before I go into that, Miriam. Hi, Miriam. She lives in Southern Illinois, and she is a very unique individual. She is bubbly and energetic, and I think I described her at one point as human espresso. She is just a lot of fun, and she has unique knitting projects. When I met her, head to toe knitwear. She had like some kind of bandana or scarf in her hair. She had a tank top on. Did she have a cowl? She might have, I don't know. And then she was wearing the Stephen West, what does he call those? It's leggings, like marled something leggings. And then she was wearing hand knit socks. And I was like, whoa. But that is her personality too. And I talked to her on Friday, as well as she came and sat with me on Saturday. And I was like, you should do a podcast. You should absolutely do a podcast. So this is why I wanted to talk about her, because did she create a YouTube channel? I know that she has an Instagram handle, Knitting Like a Cave Woman. Go follow her on Instagram. You won't be disappointed. I think she has a different Instagram handle as well. I could be wrong about that, but very interesting person. Totally worth a follow, and hopefully soon she'll be on YouTube for your viewing pleasure as well. As far as other things that happened at the meetup, there were knit-alongs. There were pictures. If you want to go to Instagram, I recommend checking out PJ Knits on Instagram. And they did a Vertices Unite knit-along. They did the Clover Tea knit-along. And then they also did a teal knit-along. And so I showed you my my shirt that I started knitting, and I'm so close to finishing. It's stupid that I didn't. It's a short sleeve thing, and I'm just starting one of the sleeves now. So that'll probably take me 10 minutes to finish. I'm exaggerating. It'll take me longer than that. Anyhow, I wish I had it done. Another thing that I want to mention that I don't think they had last year, but I don't know. They were saying that they did. I don't know. But they had door prizes. Sandy made some bags. Again, they were like the totes that I showed earlier, except that they had a flap over the top as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. And she had this type of fabric on a lot of those that were given away as door prizes. So probably maybe 15 to 20 more bags were given away as like random drawing door prizes. And then they also at the end, so later on Saturday night, there was a game that we played, which was sort of like Let's Make a Deal. You know how at the end of Let's Make a Deal, I'm Monty Hall, I know that's the old one. I don't remember. There's somebody else who hosts the newer one, which I don't think is on anymore. But he'll go through the audience and say, who has a hard-boiled egg in their purse? I'll give you $100 if you have a hard-boiled egg. Well, that's what this game reminded me of. It was, we're going to list a bunch of things, and whoever has the most of those things wins the prize. I want to say they listed 20 things maybe, and I had 11 of them. But the person who won had 17. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of things. I mean, and it was all like knitting related, or at least Mater's makeup. I did it again. Maker's Meetup related. So like a stitch marker from a previous Maker's Meetup. One of the ladies at my table had one of those. A mint. There was a mint in the bag that we got. A gauge measuring device. And they said, tape measure doesn't count. You need one that's specifically a gauge measuring device. And I was like, well, I have a tape measure. Not fair. And then the teal yarn, because the teal knit along. So just all kinds of things like that. And it was fun. It was a fun game. You know, everybody had these piles of things in front of them that they were trying to, you know, get the most of. And yeah, there was only one winner. There were 2 people who had 17 things, and then they did a tiebreaker, which I don't remember what that was, but some amazing, well-prepared person had it. So she won the prize. And I believe it was another one of those Sandy bags. I could be wrong. I don't remember now. There may have been something else. So it was a lot of fun. I strongly recommend. I mean, it is not one of those where you're going to walk through and look at all the vendors or anything like that. It is strictly socialize and knit. And I think that is one of the most fun things that you can do as a knitter. Classes are great. I love classes. I love learning new things. I love learning new techniques. You know, it would have been great if Noelle had held a class on how to hold your knitting needles like a pencil. I'm looking it up on YouTube. I don't know how you do it. I want to learn to do it. But yes, it was so much fun. It was so great. And I was talking to Penny on that Saturday night and saying to her, you know, I don't know what it was this year, but I just feel like it was more fun than the other years. I don't know why. Just maybe the level of comfort that, you know, the group has with each other because we have gotten together before. And even, you know, with new people there, that doesn't mean anything bad about that. I mean, we always welcome new people. Miriam was new this year, as far as I know. And so, I mean, just a great time sitting around knitting and just laughing and having fun, talking about family situations and empathizing with people over whatever's happening in their lives, and just a good time. So I highly recommend this event to anyone who's interested. I mean, people fly from all over. We had, I mean, like Noelle and Kelly took the train in from Montreal. People fly in from Florida and all different places of the US. And the only cost to the event is the price of your hotel and travel expenses. They do ask for donations to help them defray the costs of renting the room. But Penny and Kendra are not the ones asking for that. It's usually that somebody else there says, I brought this box for people to put cash donations in. And I think you could probably write a check too. I'm sure people have done that. But so there is a donation box that helps them to defray the costs of putting on the event. So it's a wonderful thing. It's a great community to be part of. And I have not met anyone in the community that I feel like has nefarious intentions of any kind. So it's excellent to be there and be together with people and have so much fun. And Shark Week too. Shark Week is a lot of fun. So I wish I could have them as fully separate events because they are fun in their own right for each event. So it was interesting to see them coincide, but I think I would feel much more at ease if they didn't. It was a lot of stress trying to get that project done and get all of my socializing done. And then I also have to say, at some point, the socializing is like, okay, enough. I am not a naturally bubbly, fun, social person on a regular basis. Like I can take so much of that, but if I went to a party every day, it would be too much. And that's what this is like. It's like, so Thursday night, Friday all day, Saturday all day, then Sunday morning. I have to admit, Sunday morning, I packed my stuff up. I took my first load out to the car. I saw some people on my way down that I knew, and I went in through the lobby, which I had taken my stuff out through sort of like the side door so that it was easier to just, get out to my car without being like stopped and talking to people. Not that I wanted to avoid people, just that I wanted to get that into the car so that I could come back and get my second load. So I came back in through the lobby and I talked to a couple of people, not many. And then I was in a place where I was like, I don't want to sit around and socialize. I don't want to eat breakfast with anyone. I don't want to sit down and knit. I just want to go home. So I went back upstairs. I got my suitcase and I think I still had my tote bag left to bring down. And I took the elevator down, didn't see anyone on the elevator, and went out the side door, didn't see anyone in the parking lot, and got my stuff into the car and left. Cause I had enough. I love the people there. I enjoy talking to all of them, but at some point my social battery has been fully, how do I want to say this? I don't want to say drained. Because it's fully charged, you know, like I've gotten my social battery fully charged, and I feel like if I spend that extra time with people, it's going to be overload. So I'm fully charged on this social energy and it's enough. I don't want to explode with it. So yeah, it left me feeling good, but I had had enough. And that night was the closing ceremonies for Shark Week, so I knew I was going to be social again. And I think I held my own. I think I held my own on the Shark Week closing ceremonies live stream. So it was definitely a good weekend. I mean, all in all, it was a lot of stuff to stuff into 1 week, and it was definitely fun. Definitely. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Just, I need a break in between. So, good times. And if you are still here, pop a comment below to tell me if you were at the meetup, if you participated in Shark Week, if you just enjoyed watching what I had to talk about, and if you have a favorite thing that you want to mention in my comments. It helps me in the algorithm. So if you're still here, please remember to like, subscribe, survive, and thrive. And I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.